Most of us remember the chilling footage from February 2015. It was a video that shook the world, showing 21 men in orange jumpsuits kneeling on the shores of Tripoli, Libya. The media cycle moved quickly, often labeling them simply as victims or political pawns in a war against terror. But that surface-level coverage missed the most profound aspect of the event. It missed the spiritual reality that these men were living out in real time, fulfilling the words of Jesus in Matthew 10:22. "You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved." These men were not soldiers, and they were not political activists. They were construction workers, painters, and laborers from impoverished villages in Upper Egypt. They had traveled to Libya not to fight, but to find work so they could feed their families back home. When they were kidnapped by militants, they weren't immediately executed. Instead, they were held captive for weeks, during which they were subjected to a brutal and specific ultimatum. Reports and investigations that emerged later revealed that their captors had a singular goal. They wanted to break the men's faith. For 40 days, these workers were tortured, threatened, and psychologically tormented. The terrorists made them a simple, recurring offer. If they would just renounce their Christian faith and convert to Islam, they would be spared. They could return to their families. They could live. Every day they were brought out, and every day they had the chance to speak a few words of denial to end their suffering. Yet, despite the fear and the longing for home, not a single one of them accepted the deal. They understood the gravity of Matthew 10:32, where Christ says, "Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven." They refused to deny him before men, even if it meant losing their lives. The power of their resolve was perhaps most visible in the story of Matthew Iriga. He was the only one among them who was not an Egyptian Copt. He was a construction worker from Ghana who had been captured alongside the group. By most accounts, he was not part of their church tradition when the ordeal began. The militants reportedly expected him to break easily, but after weeks of watching these simple laborers face death with gentleness, seeing them refuse to hate their tormentors, Matthew made his choice. Moments before the execution, when asked to reject the faith of his companions, he looked at the men beside him and reportedly declared, "Their God is my God." He chose to die with them, rather than live without the truth they possessed. When the final moment came on that seaside, the video intended to spread terror actually captured a final act of defiance. The men did not beg for their lives. They did not scream in panic. As they were pushed to the ground, many of them were seen moving their lips in prayer. In their final seconds, they cried out, "Yarab Yahshua, O Lord Jesus." They embodied the command of Revelation 2:10. "Do not be afraid of what you are about to suffer. Be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown." The world saw a tragedy, but the church saw a victory. They proved that, as written in Romans 8:35, neither tribulation, nor distress, nor persecution, nor peril, nor sword could separate them from the love of Christ. They were not just murdered. They were martyrs who turned a moment of darkness into a permanent testimony of unshakable faith. This channel is called Based on the Bible because we believe in looking at history and the world through the lens of Scripture. If you didn't know the full truth about these men, or if their story encouraged your faith today, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, share this video with someone who needs to hear this testimony of courage.